All right, quick question. At what point do we stop being a hobby and start being a problem?
Oh, dude, simple. Around the same time that strangers started quoting us like scripture.
That's horrifying.
Nah, dude, that's success. Episode 21, my friend. We're in the big leagues now.
The only big leagues I've ever been in was, well, probably was Little League, and I likely got benched.
Yeah, well, today's episode, we're opening the vault. Back to the origin stories, my dude.
No, please don't.
We're headed back to the snow globe.
Oh, for the love of God, please tell me it's not
Antarctica,
great.
baby.
That's the episode that made people ask questions about my upbringing.
Okay, but this time, we're not just talking about ice. We're talking about boundaries, secrets, and the things pacing outside of the map.
Oh, good. So now the planet has bouncers?
Exactly, dude. Big frozen security guards with trust
Dude,
issues.
other podcasters talk about self-care. We stress test the planet.
Yeah, that's our brand, dude.
I did not agree to this. I just wanted to tell people what I thought, seriously.
And you are, dude, with a touch of conspiracy.
Whatever. If I disappear, at least tell my story and name a drink after me. Welcome to the Witch Show.
Wait.
What, dude?
Can I do it this time, dude? Come on, it's Thanksgiving. Give me a chance to express myself.
Fine, dude. Just don't be weird about it.
I've never been weird in my life, dude. Welcome to the Witch Show, where smart meets stupid and somehow makes sense. I'm Conspiracy Georgie, and that's Rational Georgie, and we're thinking out loud so you don't have to.
It's just me thinking out loud.
What, dude?
I'm the one thinking out loud, so... You know what? Forget it. Just play the intro.
Whatever you say, dude.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Witch Show. From what I think seriously to you.
W.I.T.S. The W.I.T.S. Show.
Cool story,
bro. Alright, folks, before we hike any closer to the ice wall and accidentally make eye contact with a giant frozen angel prison guard, we need to fuel up.
Please tell me the fuel doesn't involve eating snow again.
Better. Dubby, the clean, jitter-free energy drink mix with the motto, be better with Dubby.
Ah, yes, actual energy that doesn't make my heart feel like it's filing for divorce.
Exactly, Dubby gives you energy plus focus plus concentration plus reaction. And all this without the crash, without the sugar, without the my soul left my body feeling.
I took one scoop and I feel like I could personally negotiate with the Watchers.
Yeah, please don't. But do grab some Dubby, because when you use code THEWITCHSHOW, you get a massive 30% off your order.
30%?
30%, my dude.
Wow, that's actually pretty good.
Yes, sir, you get cleaner energy, better focus, and a huge discount that supports the show.
Dubby, be better. Even if you're just trying to survive a podcast about Antarctica.
Dubby, dude. Freaking clean energy for chaotic minds.
All right, dude. Is that it?
No, dude. They're supposed to... Hey, Jarvis. Hey, do the thing, dude.
Woke up feeling frozen like the edge of the ice wall. Needed clean energy before the Watchers came to call. So I grabbed some Dubby, now I'm vibing wide awake. Zero crash, no jitters, yeah, this stuff is not fake. If you wanna power up and make your brain explode, hit the checkout page and use the Witch Show code. 30% off, yeah, that's how we roll. Dubby in my cup while we're breaking the mold.
Nice. All right, Antarctica. It's always kind of felt like a glitch, a broken part of the map. We just, pretend that it makes sense. You look at the globe, and everything is crowded with borders and flags and people screaming about who owns what. Except the bottom of the world, down there, it's just white, blank, empty. A ghost continent where nothing happens, nothing changes, and no one goes unless they've got like a PhD or a clearance badge, and a reason they refuse to fully explain. Everyone acts like that's normal. But the more you look at it, the more Antarctica stops feeling like a place and starts feeling like a secret. Kind of like Area 51. We're not going to get into Area 51. That's a whole nother story, a whole nother podcast. But a locked basement door in Earth's house? Oh yeah, we're going to jingle that handle. The official story is clean. Antarctica exists for peace, science, and penguins. They proudly tell you that in 1959, every major country on Earth signed an Antarctic treaty, basically agreeing not to fight, not to build military bases, not to mine, not to do anything that might disturb the environment. And the people just accepted that. All these nations that can't even agree on lunch. But we're supposed to believe that they suddenly held hands and promised to keep their tanks and their greed away from the entire continent? They couldn't agree on borders, research, or human rights, but they'll agree on this one thing: leave the bottom of the world alone. That is the first crack in this story. Because nothing makes human cooperation like that, unless you're scared of something bigger. But before we go down that road, we've got to talk about the Watchers. Not aliens, not ghosts, older than both. In the ancient book of Enoch, the Watchers were the angels who came down to Earth, got a little too cozy with the humans, and started teaching forbidden knowledge. They taught things like meteorology, enchantments, astrology, warfare, beauty, manipulation, the first influencers really, and in the process created the Nephilim, the giants. These beings weren't demons or humans, they were hybrids that terrified the ancient world. So, the Watchers were punished. Not with death, not with exile to space, but by being bound in the furthest and coldest regions of the earth, in the deep darkness until the end of days. A literal frozen prison at the edge of the world. And if you're starting to feel a cold breeze on the back of your neck, good. Because when we talk about Antarctica, we need to talk about the ice wall theory. Now, scientifically, Antarctica is a continent at the South Pole with massive ice shelves. They rise like skyscraper cliffs out of the ocean, totally normal, according to the textbook, but visually, to the human mind though, it looks exactly like a wall, a barrier, or a boundary, the kind ancient people described long before ever setting foot there. Flat Earth circles imagine Antarctica as a ring, the edge of the world itself, or a frozen rim keeping everything inside, and beyond it, hidden lands, forbidden continents, civilizations that we're not allowed to know about, or maybe just the end of the simulation. And sure, that's all widely speculative, but then you remember the Watchers, being imprisoned in a cold, chaotic place at the edge of the world, and suddenly the idea of boundaries stops sounding crazy and starts sounding a little familiar. Now buckle up, because the weirdest chapter in this story is in 1946 with a man named Admiral Richard Byrd. Yeah, we've talked about him before, but it's important. It's important because the U.S. Navy sent him to Antarctica with 13 ships, 33 aircrafts, and nearly 5,000 men. A force so massive, it looked more like an invasion than a science trip. And if you know about it, they called it Operation High Jump. Officially, they were testing cold weather gear and mapping coastlines. However, unofficially, Byrd came back early, rattled and spouting cryptic warnings about things he couldn't talk about. In fringe circles, he's quoted as saying he found a land beyond the pole as big as the United States, a place that shouldn't exist on any map. Others claimed he described aircrafts that moved impossibly fast with technologies far beyond the 1940s. Whether those quotes are real or misinterpreted, one thing is undeniable. The entire mission is still clouded in secrecy, and right after High Jump, world governments rushed to lock Antarctica down forever. That timing is convenient, but don't worry, it's just a bunch of governments, because we can always trust them. Always trust these big governments. And we can't ignore the Nazi obsession. In the 1930s, Hitler's regiment actually claimed a portion of Antarctica called Neuschwabenland. I probably butchered that name, but in my defense, that thing has more letters than my credit score. Anyway, that part is factual history. What came after, the rumors of hidden bases, occult experiments, and UFO-shaped crafts, that's deep conspiracy. But the question is simple. Why was a dictatorship that was obsessed with mythical symbols and lost civilizations suddenly sending expeditions to the coldest, most useless place on the planet? If you're searching for ancient beings and forgotten technology or an entrance to something underground, Antarctica? Well, that's the perfect hiding place. Oh, and speaking of underground, here's where the story gets cold in a different way. People who live at Antarctica stations talk about strange events. Reddit threads from McMurdo and Amundsen Scott Station are filled with stories that feel like campfire tales, but come from real people. Silhouettes moving across the ice in blizzards, whispers inside of empty corridors, heavy footsteps above sleeping quarters when no one's there, and an overwhelming sense of being watched, even when you're thousands of miles away from anyone and completely alone. So most of this can be explained by isolation or extreme cold, and minds cracking from darkness. But that's not all of it. There are stories of remote sensors picking up movement where there should be nothing moving, shadows that aren't even cast by anything, echoes that travel in the wrong direction. Antarctica feels haunted, but not by ghosts, by something ancient, and it's underneath your feet. And that brings us to the theory that ties everything together, the gate. In Enoch's writing, the Watchers were chained in deep valleys of the earth, sealed away until judgment. Other cultures describe hollow places beneath the poles, underworlds of caverns, and frozen tunnels. Some modern theories talk about massive subglacial lakes, warm pockets under the ice, and entire mountain ranges buried beneath the continent. When you put all of that together, a picture forms. Antarctica isn't empty. It's layered. And deep in those layers could be something old, something bound, something guarding the boundary between worlds. So here's the what if that flips the table. What if the Antarctic Treaty isn't about protecting nature at all? What if it's a truce or a contract? A cosmic agreement between humanity and something older? Don't dig here. Don't drill here. Don't build weapons here. Don't open the door. It would explain why every country, even enemies, follows it. It would explain the quiet military presence that technically isn't military. It would explain the absolute lockdown of anything involving drilling or over-the-horizon exploration. If the Watchers were the prison guards of the ice wall, or the prisoners themselves, the treaty becomes a giant do not disturb sign hanging over the most mysterious place on Earth. And maybe that's the real reason why you and I will never just hop on a plane and see what's past the towering barrier of ice. Maybe the world isn't afraid of what the humans will do down there. Maybe it's afraid what might happen if something wakes up, if something ancient stirs, if something chained decides time's up. Maybe the ice wall isn't a boundary, maybe it's a lock. And maybe the Watchers aren't gone. Maybe they're exactly where the ancient texts said they'd be, waiting at the edge of the world, frozen in a place we're not allowed to touch. They say that the Watchers were never meant to rule, only to observe. Ancient texts describe them as being sent to watch humanity from a distance, silent, unseen, and forbidden from interfering. But something went wrong. The Watchers broke their rules. They taught humans forbidden knowledge, weapons and stars and secrets about the Earth and things that we were probably never meant to know. And when they crossed that line, they were erased. Or, at least that's the version we were given. Because other stories say that they weren't destroyed. They were imprisoned, buried so deep that not even memory could find them. Locked beneath stone, beneath oceans, beneath ice. And no place on Earth holds more ice than Antarctica. Antarctica, a continent we're told is empty, deadly, useless, a frozen wasteland where nothing lives and no one goes. But here's what doesn't make sense. If there's truly nothing there, why is the entire world united on one thing for once? No weapons, no mining, no military, no bases, no free travel, dozens of countries who can't agree on anything else. All signs on the treaty saying stay out, not be careful, not visit responsibly, but just don't go there. And then there's the rumor that nobody wants to touch. Stories of pyramids beneath the ice, larger than anything in Egypt. Perfect geometric shapes buried miles deep that radar claims didn't form naturally. Whispers of ancient structures frozen in time long before history was written. Some say it's not a pyramid, it's a generator. Others say it's not a building, it's a lock. And what is locked away is watching us back. Explorers have written about being followed in whiteout storms, about seeing tall shapes moving through the snowstorm that left no footprints, about finding abandoned camps, still warm, with no signs of struggle, just gone, about hearing whispers in the wind where voices shouldn't exist, about shadows that didn't all move in the same direction. Then there's the stories of men appearing out of nowhere, walking out of blizzards, leading lost explorers to safety, only to vanish like smoke an hour later, with no trace behind them. No names, no proof, just survival. And questions. In 1946, right after World War II, the United States sent an entire fleet to Antarctica. Warships, soldiers, aircraft, thousands of men. The official reason was it was training. But the mission ended early, abruptly, quiet, with no victory speeches, no explanation, just silence, and ships turning back. I'm sorry, but you don't send an army to study penguins. And then you have Admiral Byrd, who claimed he flew beyond the ice wall, and he found green land, warm water, and beings taller than any man he'd ever seen. He said they warned him, not with weapons, but with knowledge, that humanity was too violent to be trusted with what lie beyond the ice wall. That the world we live in isn't the world as it truly is. So what if Antarctica isn't the bottom of the planet? What if it's the top of the cage? What if the ice isn't nature at work, but architecture? And the Watchers? What if they're not fallen angels, or gods, or monsters? What if they're prison guards, or prisoners, or worse, the owners? Maybe the government's not scared of Antarctica because it's frozen, but because nothing stays buried forever. We all yearn for exploration. Not just of places, but of truth. There's something in us that refuses to believe the story stops where the map ends. A quiet voice in the back of our minds that tells us there's more than what we're being shown. More than what we're allowed to see. More than what fits neatly into a textbook. And maybe that's the curse of being human. Or maybe it's the gift. Because the moment we stop questioning is the moment we stop discovering. The moment we accept the world exactly as it is handed to us is the moment we trade wonder for comfort. And this show, it exists because comfort has never been enough. We chase the parts of reality that feel unfinished. We follow the threads no one else wants to pull. We shine a flashlight into the corners we're told are empty, and sometimes we realize they're not empty at all. Sometimes something stares back. But that's the price of curiosity, isn't it? Not every door opens to answers. Some open to silence or fear, and some to the kind of truth that changes you forever. I personally would love to find out the truth about Antarctica because, let's be honest, there is definitely something going on over there that we don't know about. Some kind of crazy truth that's being kept from us. Whether it's proof the Earth is flat or maybe the entrance to Hollow Earth, I want to know. I'm sure you all do too, and we deserve to know. They know that, but they'll never tell us. Because there might be a whole other government there that's better than ours. One that actually supports the idea of everyone matters, not your race is important, or your gender is important, or your beliefs important. A place where medicine maybe is so far advanced that people don't get sick anymore, and technology is so much greater that we no longer need to work ourselves to death for our basic rights to live, where strain is rare and happiness is abundant. A place where we do actually know the truth of where we came from and what actually happens when you die. Our government already controls that right now. The rules are written by the guy who has the biggest stick, so it would make sense that they would keep this information from us. Because if we ever got out of it, if we ever found out that there was a far better way of living and they no longer had control, well, they would lose everything. And believe it or not, my friends, there are definitely people out there who have a messed up complex that makes them think they are better than you. And unfortunately, they typically desire control, and as a result, they are the ones that are usually running the show. So, is it far-fetched to believe that they are controlling your exit to the place that might be far greater than what you have now? I'll let you decide. But I certainly want to hear what your opinion is on this, so make sure you leave your own thoughts in my comments. I'm actually dying to hear what you have to say. Even if you hop on and tell me I'm wrong, I gotta know. Also, if you're looking for a new energy drink that has an almost 5-star review with over 21,000 reviews, make sure you try out W.I.T.S. They have a ton of amazing flavors, and you'll pay the same price as any of those other same style drinks, except when you use code THEWITCHSHOW at checkout, you'll get an additional 30% off of your purchase, courtesy of ya boy. So until next week, my friends, this is The W.I.T.S Show, where smart meets stupid and somehow makes sense. My name's Georgie, and I'm thinking out loud so you don't have to.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the W.I.T.S Show from What I Think Seriously to You.
W.I.T.S, The W.I.T.S Show.
Cool story, bro. Dude, I think that's enough frozen nightmare fuel.
Yeah, dude, I'm officially scared of ice, angels, Antarctica, basically anything that's colder than the fridge now.
But hey, dude, freaking episode 21, baby, full circle. We finally came back to Antarctica and somehow made it even weirder.
We really did. Episode 1 was like, Antarctica is bullshizzle, and then episode 21 is like, Antarctica is bullshizzle, and it has celestial prison guards.
Growth, my dude. That's called growth.
Yeah, therapy calls it regression, but sure, let's go with growth.
Yeah, and listen, if the watchers are tuning in, please know that Georgie's opinions do not reflect the views of management.
Hey, I'm pro-watcher. Please don't unfreeze on my behalf.
All right, folks, as we drift back from the edge of the world, we've got something special to close out episode 21.
Oh yeah, that's right, the grand finale. The song, Sidewalk 97 style banger.
Freaking powered by chaos,
and
dude.
Fueled by conspiracies.
Yes, sir, so crank your speakers, grab your tinfoil hats one last time.
And enjoy the anthem for surviving the ice wall, outrunning the frozen angels, and making it to episode 20 freaking 1.
Yo, Georgie, why are we running? Because the Watchers woke up, bro! Hit the music! Back to the ice wall, 21 and unhinged. Full circle chaos on a continental fringe. Episode 1 said Antarctica's bullshizzle fact. Now the frozen angels wanna hit us with an axe. Treaty on the table and the world said chill, but nobody signs peace unless they're scared for real. Operation High Jump still echoing loud, and Bird dipped early like, nope, I'm out. We came for answers, all we got was fear. Echoes in the tunnels like, don't come here. If the Watchers start thawing, we're toast for sure. But hey, that's content, so crank the allure. We're the guardians of the ice wall, running from giants like idiots on call. dancing through the breeze. Cosmic prison guards locked under the snow, and we're dumb enough to say, let's go! McMurdo whispers shadows in the hall, footsteps pacing with no one there at all. Sensors picking movement in the dead of night, even penguins dipping like, bro, not tonight. If the gate starts glowing at the edge of the map, just remember we warned you, roll the recap. But until the ice cracks and the giant stands tall, we're still here yelling, this show goes hard! We're the guardians of the ice wall, chilling with chaos like we own it all. Frozen angels ain't stopping this crew. We survived episode 1, we'll survive round 2. Yeah, the witch show is the wildest ride. Truth bombs dipped in comedy pride. If watchers wake up, we're going on site. But until then, we're rocking tonight. We're rocking tonight. Tinfoil hats up! 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 Yeah! Tinfoil hats up! W in the cup, 21 episodes, we ain't shutting up. Map looks wrong, giant too strong. Beside, well, Daddy said he still drops the sun. We're the guardians of the ice wall, kicking down secrets like we're 10 feet tall. If the world won't tell it, we freaking will, cause the witch show keeps the cold drill real. If a frozen angel grabs me, I'm suing the map. Bro, just run. Yeah! Bro, just run.